Hello and welcome to Run Testers. My name's Nick and this is our first run review of the Kiprun KD900. The KD900 was originally billed as the training partner shoe to Decathlon's first carbon plate shoe, the KD900X. It has the same PEBAX foam in the midsole as the carbon plate shoe, but no plate at all. So basically it's a lightweight, speed-focused trainer that can handle a little bit of everything, but probably is geared more towards fast running. Worth noting that Kiprun now has the KD900X LD in its lineup as well. I don't think it's really been released fully yet. It seems to be quite a small release so far, but that's the next gen carbon racer they have in their lineup. The Kiprun KD900 is £100 in the UK and $120 in the US. Doesn't seem to be available on the US Decathlon website at the moment. Weighs in at 238 grams or 8.4 ounces in my UK size 9, and it's got an 8mm drop from heel to toe. Don't have the official stack height, but it's a pretty beefy stack there, well over 30mm at the heel. The key feature on the KD900 is the PEBAX midsole. It's Decathlon's V foam. It's made with PEBAX Arcana in France, and it's, like I say, a PEBA based foam. It's a fairly firm PEBA foam though, compared to some of the other ones on the market. You don't really get that big squishy feeling that you get with some other PEBA foams, but as a result, it should be nice and durable. Decathlon says this shoe will last 1,000 kilometers, which is a very good promise to make. Another interesting feature on the shoe is the donut shape you have at the heel of the shoe there, which is Decathlon says is designed to maximize energy return. You've got that big donut at the back there of foam. And obviously, as you can see, you've got great outsole coverage on the shoe with very little exposed foam, fairly thick layer there of a rubber that's inspired by tire tread to provide excellent grip in wet conditions. Got a lightweight, quite stiff feeling upper with not much padding at all. There's a little bit around the heel at the back of the shoe there, a little bit on the tongue to stop lace bite, but overall it's a pretty lightweight upper all round to keep the weight of the shoe down. So the fit of the shoe has been all good for me in my normal size after one run. I've got a UK 9 here, that's my normal size in the UK. With Kiprun, it's a US 10 and an EU 43.5. So it's quite a roomy shoe, quite a long shoe. Like my feet aren't exactly the same size, so my left foot's a little bit shorter than my right foot. My left foot might have slightly too much room in the shoe, but overall it's a pretty good fit across both feet, and I had no problems on the run today. Good secure hold at the heel and midfoot, enough room in the toe box without feeling too big. So yeah, I was very happy in my normal running shoe size. Good morning, it is a lovely sunny day here in London. I'm off out to do my first run in the Kiprun KD900. Looking forward to this. I've been keen to test these shoes for a long time. Obviously I've got that PEBAX midsole, but it's quite a firm foam, the one that Decathlon uses for its Kiprun shoes. So I expect it to probably feel quite firm today, but I'm hoping that it'll feel nice and lightweight, nice and bouncy. I'm doing an easy to steady 5 miles, kind of classic run I do a couple of times a week, and I'm just going to loop around the neighbourhood. Start fairly easy pace, probably somewhere around 4:45, 4:30 a k pace, move down to around 3:40 a k pace by the end is the plan. Looking forward to seeing how the shoes feel. So I'm just back from the run now. Did my 5 miles in just under 32 minutes. A nice progression. I ended up moving along quite smoothly at the end in the low 330s, and the shoes felt really good. Like they're not as firm as I thought they were going to be actually. When I was running at an easy pace, they felt quite comfortable. You got a bit of squidge there from the big mound of PEBA at the back. They're less firm than the KD900X, which has the plate involved as well. So this gives them a slightly softer feel. They don't feel super lightweight, even though they are very light. They don't feel. Some shoes just feel really light, like the Brooks Hyperion Max just feels really light. Even though I think it's really quite similar weight. But yeah, if they did feel nice and cushioned. They firmed up a bit when I started going a bit quicker. You could feel the ground on your feet quite well in them. They've not really got any kind of rocker, so you snap through quite nicely, but it didn't get any kind of discomfort. Obviously, it was quite a short run today. I do longer stuff in them down the line, but I think they're pretty comfortable, and the pace was certainly there. Like, you don't get that sink in and spring that you get from some PEBA foams, but you get a good amount of bounce there. It's very easy to pick up the pace in them. That firmer platform helps with that as well, and obviously there is the foam giving you a fair bit back as well. So yeah, this is the kind of run I do in lots of shoes. Like, I've been doing it a lot, for example, in the Adidas Prime X Strung 2 lately, and that feels amazing for it, because it's really bouncy. You got all that flight from the amazing setup of all the foams and everything, and it's like £250, and this shoe does that exact kind of run really well as well, for a lot less, which is obviously a great sign for the Kiprun shoes. Obviously, without any kind of plate or anything like that, it'd be interesting how they feel sustaining a pace over a long distance. So that's something I'll try and do in training down the line. But yeah, very solid first outing. Like I say, it's a pretty typical daily training run for me here today, and they've done that really well. And obviously, the whole thing about them is they do that kind of run really well, while being a fair bit cheaper than lots of shoes. So early verdict, enjoyed my first run in the KD900. Looks to be a good shoe this. It feels versatile. It was more comfortable than I expected at the easy paces at the start of the run. And then it does have that firmness and pop when you do want to try and run a little bit quicker. That does support a nice fast turnover in the legs. I was landing right on the old donut there during my run, and it does feel nice and squishy at the back of the shoe and gives you a nice bit of pop. You don't get quite so much, I think, from the front of the shoe in terms of the toe off compared to some other PEBAX shoes or speed focused shoes, but it is a nice fast turnover. It feels like it's certainly not going to slow you down. You've got a good base there, and I think over time the foam will soften a little bit as well. Something we saw a little bit with the KD900X before my shoe was pinched, so that's why we never got to the full review of that one. Yeah, and overall I think it's a solid midsole, if not one that immediately grabs you and, you know, demands attention by being really exciting or anything like that. Going forward, I'll be really keen mainly to see how this performs over long runs, to see if it is still comfortable, to see if you try and hold a hard pace in it over the course of like an hour, how the shoe feels then, because that's when shoes with plates and other foams and midsoles really shine. Things, training partner shoes like the Endorphin Speed 3 and the Puma Deviate Nitro 2, those shoes really feel great for that kind of sustained running quick as well as being nice and versatile. Be interesting to see if you get the same feeling of efficiency from this shoe on those longer runs. But yeah, overall it does seem like a nice versatile shoe at a good price. Now, it's a good price, but not a great price. Obviously, when you talk about Decathlon and Kiprun, you expect great value, and this is a good value shoe, but at £100, there are certainly other shoes out there that rival it in value. Obviously, I'm going to talk about the Puma Velocity Nitro 2, because I always talk about that shoe, but that's roughly the same price. That's a shoe that's built more for daily training. It's not quite as aggressive a shoe as this. It's got a softer feeling. It's more comfortable for easy runs and that kind of thing, but it does have a bit of pace in it still. Got a great outsole on the Puma, got a great outsole on the Kiprun though, it's fair to say. Another good value shoe that's worth comparing it to will be the Reebok Float Ride Energy 5, which is even cheaper. Again, geared more towards being a daily trainer, but has a similar feeling underfoot. They've both got quite firm midsole foams. I'd say the Kiprun KD900 and the Reebok. I think you get a bit more bounce out of the Kiprun so far, and it is a much lighter shoe than both the Reebok and the Puma. So if you are looking more for that speed focus, then it'll have a little bit of an edge there, but do think its strength will probably be in versatility, and those other two shoes are also quite versatile. So yeah, there's a few options there to compare it to when we get to the full review, but you know, it is still obviously a pretty good value shoe, and I do think it's going to hopefully handle a range of runs pretty well. So discuss that more once I've done a fair bit more testing, but a solid start in the Kiprun. Like I say, rolled through one of my normal runs today, and it felt really good, and it accomplishes that run just as well as shoes that cost many times as much, and it feels good on the run as well, if not as outrageously bouncy or exciting as some shoes you will come across with these kind of modern foams in the midsoles. So that's our first look at the Kiprun KD900. Have you tried the shoe? If you have, jump into the comments below to let us know what you think of it, and flag up any other shoes around this kind of price that you think are really good, versatile daily trainers or speed focused shoes like this. Have you been trying Kiprun running gear in general? I flagged up a few pieces on the channel of late. I do think you get really good value out of it across the board, and it's just whether, I'm just not sure yet that the shoes provide that kind of value, because there are such good cheap running shoes from other brands as well. Please do like, subscribe, ring the little bell, and we will see you next time on the channel.